Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. If you haven't had a chance to watch the MindSpeak session with Professor Howard French, you must. And there is the presentation, and then that's followed by the Q&A session where we sort of disembarked from the China-Africa story, looked at it more closely, looked at China more closely, looked at the paramount leader. It's really great content and particularly relevant right now. And I thank Professor French and the Columbia University Graduate School of Journalism and the Columbia Global Centers for the support in putting that together. I'm halfway through his book, and that has also opened up my eyes because it's given me depth in terms of looking at the current situation. Really interesting. Kenyan leader likely to reappoint Dr. Njoroge as Central Bank of Kenya chief, according to people with direct knowledge of the matter. A steady currency, efforts to boost loans to small businesses and market-led bank consolidation put him in good standing to retain the job, according to the people who asked not to be identified because the matter is still private. Njoroge's first four-year term ends June 18. We're not done yet, he said, on bank consolidation. Their headroom for new borrowing has diminished, he also said. Look, I think he deserves a second term. That's without doubt, particularly because he's seen as a very steady hand. And of course, I wrote about his Madaraka Day masterstroke. I'm sure they know how much cash is in circulation. And Mohamed Wellier, whom I interviewed yesterday on Metropole, reiterated the same. The CBK's usable foreign exchange reserves were at an all-time high of $10.06 billion as a result of the government's successful issuance of a $2.1 billion Eurobond in May. If you can't prove where your money came from, it will turn to paper on October the 1st, as we will not accept it, said Dr. Njoroge. PKF Kenya is proposing a reduction in corporate tax from the current 30% to 20% for the next 3 years. I wrote about this in June 2018 when I said cut taxes and cast the net wider. I said it's now a zero-sum game in order to get the show back on the road and get back to faster GDP growth, because growth is a silver bullet. We should be cutting taxes and casting the tax net wider. And I've said on Citizen, perhaps a radical approach would be to reduce taxes, stimulate people to do more business, and in return get more in terms of revenue. Burger King to invest 270 million shillings in expansion. That fast food space is a sweet spot because of the growing, the growth in the demography and urbanization. Nairobi All Shares up 7.14% year to date. NSE 20s down 5.48% year to date. I wish you all a happy Eid Mubarak, and remind you that we're on weekdays on Metropole TV between the hours of 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Thank you for stopping by.